Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. Not sure yet whether this is going to be one or two videos, but I'm going to start with the nonfiction and either continue on with the fiction if I have time, or if I go on with the fiction if I think this video is not too long, or if I think this video is getting a bit long, I'll then stop this one and start a new one for the fiction. So anyway, that being said, hi. I just want to run through a few of the things that I have been reading since the last time I spoke to y'all. Most of what I've been posting lately have been bird cam videos. That probably will continue to be on my channel just because they're fun. They're just a quick little post and sharing something that I find and that I enjoy. And every once in a while I get to use my bird field guides to identify one that I haven't seen before, like the Carolina wren that I saw sometime this week. So that was a new to us bird at our feeder. But so you will be seeing the bird videos pop up in between actual booktube videos. But anyway, don't have any other bird books to show right now. I've been focusing primarily on some of the books for the challenges that I am doing. The only one for the Big Book Summer challenge that I have in this video. Yeah, that I was just checking my other books to make sure this is the only one I have for Big Book Summer. And yes, even if I'm including the fictional books, this is the only one that I'm going to talk about this time around because I'm only going to discuss the books that, pretty much the books that I've read since I last recorded. So, still reading the Lindisfarne Gospels. I have finally finished that chapter that I was on that was talking about the, where it was made. Can't pull out the word I'm looking for, but yeah, provenance? I'm probably saying that wrong. Anyway, where the book was made, who was involved in the making of it. That was what I covered last chapter. So this one looks like it's going to be talking about the text itself, which would be kind of cool. Don't really know what else to really expect there. I have some tabs here and there, particularly when it comes to, like, there's a section where they're talking about when she put this book together, they created a facsimile of the actual Lindisfarne Gospels, and she and the I think she said the British Library, Library facsimile Verlag and Michelle P. Brown have worked together to make a new fine art facsimile of museum surrogate quality available as part of the present project they're working on. So they plan on making these and then making them available as cheaply and as widely as possible. And then just having them at exhibited at different places. So they have the example of Durham Cathedral, Lindisfarne Heritage Center, and they hope to make the Lindisfarne Gospels thus accessible in an appropriate form, which will permit the continued preservation of the manuscript itself to as wide a global constituency as possible in accordance with principles of transmission, which inspired those who first undertook its manufacture. So, I think it's really cool that they were planning on distributing this with a facsimile of the Lindisfarne Gospels at a bunch of different locations. I know that this book came with, I don't have it in here anymore, but It came with a little card if you wanted to order the facsimile of the Lindisfarne Gospels. Now, I found it to be, with shipping and handling included, to be just too much for my purse just to have a facsimile to say, hey, I have a facsimile of the Lindisfarne Gospels. But I do think it's cool that it's available for someone for whom the price is not prohibitive, or like she mentions, to have it available at places like Durham Cathedral and Lindisfarne Heritage Center. So, yes. Yeah, making my way slowly through this. This is a little bit more of a scholarly, well, this is more of a scholarly work, so it does take a little bit longer. But I do have annotations throughout. Just trying to see if this one has anything special here. My little round one here. Oh, this was interesting, where they mentioned that there's actually a point in the Lindisfarne Gospels where someone pasted in the lower gutter margin a red star to mark the beginning of Genesis. Let's see, in this and in another important Anglo-Saxon manuscript, she was saying that difficult as it is to credit in these days where we are more codicologically sensitive, these appear to be related to the selection during the 19th century of folios to be illustrated in a proposed guidebook to the British Museum collections. So somebody thought it was a good idea to be like, ooh, I want to make sure that I'm going to show this part of Genesis in the Lindisfarne Gospels and this other part of this Anglo-Saxon manuscript. Let me go ahead and paste this red paper star here so I remember that this is what I want to show. It's crazy that someone thought that that was appropriate. And now that is a part of the Lindisfarne Gospel's personal history, which is, like I said, kind of crazy. But yeah. The other, I'm still working my way through marking the hours, English people in their prayers for quarter. Well, I had partially for quarter 2 of Historathon 2024, but I'm continuing on with it for quarter 3 because it also covers the Tudor era with Thomas More's Book of Hours. And let's see, I think I'm headed into the printed form of the hours. And this section says Catholic books in a Protestant world. So what I found interesting with this is Eamon Duffy chose to show pictures of different common scenes in these Book of Hours, but there were levels of Book of Hours. Like, okay, they would all include the same things, but the quality would be different. So you'd have better quality pictures if you paid for the more expensive printed book versus if you paid for the least expensive. And this one example is from the expensive form of the Book of Hours, the printed form. And this is the opening of Matins. So here's for the expensive printed form. And this is 2 pages across from each other. Then for the medium form, you have, I'm not sure if you guys can see it very well, this right here, same scenes, but just a slightly lesser quality. And so what you have in these scenes, and I didn't really point out what you were looking at, This is supposed to be I believe it's the root of it's the Jesse tree. So you actually have a tree growing out of Jesse while he's laying down, and then you have the Annunciation. So same scenes here, tree of Jesse and the Annunciation, but it's rougher and just not nearly as nice. Now, I actually don't. It's rough in the lower quality one, but it's not as bad as it could be. So down here's the lowest quality one. And there's definitely, you can tell why someone would pay more for this one here. But it made it so that way it was not prohibitive for the person who did not have a ton of money to still be able to have a book of hours that was comparable to someone of higher means. So I thought that was cool that this is something they were seeing as they were headed into as they were in the Tudor era. Now you are starting to see, for people who had these books before the split of England from the Catholic Church, you are starting to see the popes, any reference to the Pope, like scratched out because of the Reformation. I don't know if this book, I don't think it's in this book, but I do want to show it because I love this picture of Our Lady of Sorrows with all the swords coming out. But yeah, I don't know that I have an example here where the Pope's name was scratched out, but I'll probably have one to show next time. But anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at so far with this. I just thought it was really cool, the different forms of the printed hours that were made available, because they were just able to pop more of them out once the Gutenberg press became a thing. The price just became more reasonable because you weren't having to have monks make these individual ones laboriously. Okay, so the final thing, I think I still will make this the separated video. I got this, I believe, since the last time I recorded. So, I believe the channel that I heard this from was Read by Fred. He talks about, just from the videos that I've seen, he seems to talk about a lot of science books. He does talk history. He's a Trekkie. So his channel is a lot of fun. I recommend it. But he is reading this book, and when he talked about starting this, when we were headed into quarter 3 of the Historathon, I was really interested in it. So I ended up picking this up. I'm not very far along yet. I'm really just in where they're starting to put together the precursors of the Royal Society, and it's talking about how there being this being the period of time where you had the king the king thrown out. You have Cromwell taking over. So that's a time period where there was a lot of upheaval of the university system. People who were royalists would lose their position, and then you would have people who were more supportive of the Cromwellian rule, for that lack of a better term, getting precedence over royalists. Then, right before you actually have the Royal Society being instituted and not just having all these little precursors, you have the restoration of Charles II as monarch, and now headed into the actual beginning of the Royal Society. But the precursors, they were a bunch of people who were getting together to talk about the sciences. It sounded like at first it was almost like a philosophy club, a philosophy slash science club slash let's just discuss all these cool thoughts and ideas and see where bouncing these ideas, concepts, really cool things, what throwing them off, bounce them off the wall and, talking to each other about it, what we can come up with from there. It just sounds like it was a really cool place to be, really cool bunch of people to be involved with, especially if you were more scientifically minded. So yeah, this is starting to heat up. I look forward to getting farther in. This isn't getting a lot of attention right now because I have other books I need to finish first, but it's not a terribly long book. So if I read a little bit here and there, I'll be able to make my way through it in a decent amount of time. This is only about 219 pages long, and that's including the index and the footnotes. So, yeah. Looks like it's going to be good. Look forward to see where it goes from here. I am going to end this video here and then go ahead and start the next one. Thank you very much for joining me for this hopefully fairly short video covering some of the nonfiction reads that I have been enjoying. Hope that you have a great day, and I will see you for the next video. God bless. Bye.